Hello everyone, my name is Laura, this is my channel Laura's Little Library, and welcome to today's video, which is my spring TBR video. I have so many books I want to read in spring. I don't know what it is, but every year I feel like there are so few books that just scream spring to me, and I don't know what to do if I keep reading my winter books or if I start reading summer books or like what happens. But I feel like this year is so different. There are so many books that I want to read specifically in spring, specifically right now, and I'm so excited to dive into those. I have some that I own, but a lot that I don't own yet, and so it'll be a lot of listening to audiobooks, and then if I like those books, I will probably buy them. But I am so excited. It is quite the long list, so I do not think I will get to all of these books. I would really love to read all of my physical ones and at least a few of the other books over audio, because I am really excited for a lot of those. So I'm not going to get to everything on this list, but I'm surely going to try. So let's just jump right in. So in no particular order, the first book I really want to read is Immortals, and this is by Su Lin Tan, and this is like a companion-esque to her duology, The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, and that also has a companion for like Tales of the Celestial Kingdom, but this is a different story in the same mythological style. So this book follows Li Yan, who is about to inherit the throne of her kingdom, and the immortals, I think she gets poisoned or something, and her grandfather steals a lotus flower from the immortals to save her life. And so the immortals get really mad about that, of course, and so they are preparing to attack Li Yan's kingdom, and so she must go to the immortal realm and team up with the one person who is actually her full-blown enemy, and that is the god of war. So she goes to the immortal kingdom. She's going to learn all their secrets, learn how to defeat them, and finally stop their servitude to the immortals. But this is definitely, it's a fantasy, romance, rivaling kingdoms. I am so excited for this. I loved Su Lin Tan's writing for Daughter of the Moon Goddess in that duology, so I am just so ready for a new standalone romance from this author. And I think because the mythology, the lotus flower, it's those elements that it feels very celestial, which feels very spring to me, which is why I want to read this so badly. Also, the cover, of course, looks very spring and romantic. It also has hot pink sprayed edges and some of the most gorgeous end covers. And so just with those light colors, very floral, mythological romance, oh, it's all so spring to me. So this is definitely near the top of my list. Along the same lines of mythology, another book I'm excited to get to is Fathom Folk, and this is by Eliza Chen. You've got this city that is half underwater, and the humans are ruling above everyone. Everyone who kind of lives in the underwater, you know, the sirens, the sea witches, the kelpies, and the kappas. All of those creatures are kind of oppressed by the humans because the humans live above water. And so when the princess of this whole land actually gets exiled to this half-sunken city, our main character, Mira, who is half human, half siren, is promoted to the guard and is in charge of watching her. However, when they have a wonderful festival breakout, there is actually an attack of violence that happens. And so we follow our main characters as they kind of deal with this rebellion, and because you have Mira, who is half siren and she wants to fight for the rights of her people, but she's doing it by working her way up in the border guard, it is pretty cool. So I'm really excited to read about this. Again, we've got a very colorful, beautiful cover that seems very spring to me, and the mythology, like the water aspects, I think it's just going to be a beautiful book that is going to transport me out of maybe the rainy weather into a more sunny river-esque town. But this is also the first book in a series, and I don't know when the second one is coming out, but this has been out for a little bit, so hopefully when I do get around to reading this, it won't be that far away from when the second book comes out. A book that's a little bit less springy in nature of the story, but what I really want to get to this spring that I'm excited about is The Blood Orchid, and this is by Kylie Lee Baker. This is the second book after The Scarlet Alchemist. This was actually gifted to me by my Secret Santa over Christmas, and I really want to finally get to it. So our Scarlet Alchemist, it takes place in old Imperial China where women aren't allowed to do some of the things that men do, and our main character wants to be an alchemist, and so she joins the competition to be the new alchemist for the emperor. And that book left off on such a cliffhanger. I rated it 5 stars. I loved it. I was so excited. So I cannot wait to finally pick up the second book, and I believe it's the final. I think they're a duology. We continue to follow our main character's journey as a royal alchemist and things like that. So really excited. I cannot wait. Still in the fantasy realm and looking at spring in a little bit of a new light, I really want to read The Forest King's Daughter, and this is by Ellie Blake, because this book, the colors of the cover seem very autumnal, but I really want to read this book, so I don't want to wait till autumn. And the fact that it's a forest to me always have like growth and new growth and things like that. So I am thinking I want to read this in spring because I really want to read it. And then after reading it, I'll decide if it needs to go in like a spring recommendation or if it really is an autumn book recommendation. But I am so incredibly excited because you have the Forest King's Daughter, who has a romance with I believe he's a demon prince, and the demon prince gives her his ring, and that immediately starts a war between the demons and the forest. And so years pass by and they are trained to hate each other and to be warriors and things like that. But then they must embark on this really interesting magical journey in order to resolve the transaction that took place that started the war. And I believe so it's going to be like a second chance romance, but forbidden enemies to lovers kind of thing, which I love. I'm so excited for those tropes. And yeah, so even though it seems like it could be autumnal, I can't wait. I just really want to read this, so I'm going to read it in spring and be like, forests are all about growth and trees, which are very natural. So I will be picking this up soon as well. The final physical book that I own that I want to pick up this spring is actually Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, and this is by Ashley Herring Blake. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care, and I very much enjoyed it. I loved it, so I obviously need to read the other books in these series. I know there is another one, hi Baba, in this series as well that I don't own, but as soon as I get my hands on it, it will probably also go onto my TBR, and if I read this and absolutely adore it, I will probably be very motivated to go pick up that other book and read it as quickly as possible. And now for all the books that I don't own but I really want to read this spring also. First up is The Name Bearer, and this is by Natalie Hernandez, and this is the first book in a new series, trilogy, duology, I'm not super sure, but it's called Flowers of Prophecy, and the cover looks very floral, so this is why I really want to read it in spring. This book follows our main character, the Name Bearer, and it is her job that when a new heir to the throne is born, that she goes to the flowers, receives the prophecy of flowers, and is given the name of the future monarch, and is supposed to come back and deliver it to the people. However, with this new child that is born, the flowers actually don't give her a name. They give her a new prophecy, saying that there was a different child that is better suited to ruling than this heir, and that causes a huge uproar, and so our name bearer must then flee, and she ends up living like with this tribe of female warriors, which is super cool, and I think there's going to be some found family there. But then she has to go on a mission to find the child that is supposed to be the new monarch and give them their name and figure out what to do about the unnamed heir. So I love that it is flowers that give the prophecy and how much they have an effect on the story. So I think that is what is really drawing me to this book this spring in particular. Next up, we have a book called The Scorpion and the Night Blossom, and this is by Emily Wenchow. And this book is also the first in a duology, and the duology is called the Three Realms duology, and I have read things by Emily Wenchow before and I really enjoyed them, but this book, our main character enters in a deadly competition because the prize is something that she needs to save her mother's soul. So she enters the competition to win this prize that will save her mother, But as she does so, there is a rival competitor that is helping her, and she doesn't know if she can really trust him. And they end up going to the immortal world, where she realizes that not everything is as it should be. So she's trying to figure out what's going on in the mortal world, how she can win this very deadly competition, what's going on with this rival who is helping her. So I'm super excited. This book also comes out this spring. I believe it came out on March 4th, so just a couple days before this video goes up. So I will probably go to the bookstore and pick up a copy myself. I am very excited. It's another like mythology based, because you have immortals, competition, deadly competition with possibly rivals to lovers. I don't know, but it's the first in a duology, and I'm really excited, and I just love that title, The Scorpion and the Night Blossom. I will be reading that this spring as well. Next up is another book that recently came out. This book came out in February, and it's called The Rose Bargain, and this is by Sasha Payton Smith, who's the author of The Witch Haven. And this book, when I saw that it was The Cruel Prince meets The Selection, I got so excited. It's the idea that in England, every child that is born gets a chance to have a deal with the Fae Queen once they like come of age, and so a lot of high society girls choose something that will make them more appealing to suitors. So maybe they'll trade a happy childhood memory for piano skills or beauty or something like that. Our main character is kind of thrown into a bit of a twist, because when it's her year to enter the season, it is announced that the Fae Queen is looking for a bride for her son. And so that's where the like selection comes a part of it. So our main character wants to make a good bargain or win the heart of the Fae Prince so that she can fix her family's name that has kind of been ruined a little bit, and undo the terrible gift that was given to her sister. It says it destroyed her sister. So I'm really excited. I loved the selection when I read it as a kid, and I am a big fan of Holly Black's The Cruel Prince, so I will definitely be picking this one up. I only just heard about it recently, even though it's a new release, so I'm kind of shocked, but I'm so excited. This is one of the books where I will probably buy it before I read it, so I'm very excited. And it's so pretty. Like, the cover is pink, and it's called The Rose Bargain, which is such a floral and spring name. Oh, I just cannot wait. I love fae stories in the spring. I love mythology, and I love fae stories in the springtime. So moving on to a book called Once a Queen, and this is by Sarah Arthur. This is the first book in what I believe is a trilogy, or there are at least 3 books that are announced, and the name of the trilogy is Caracol. And our main character is sent to spend the summer with her grandmother in this big manor that she has never really seen, doesn't have a lot of contact with, and strange things start happening, and she finds out that all the fairy tales are true. And the rumor is from all the staff and the people who work there that her grandmother was actually a queen in another world. So during that summer, our main character tries to figure out what happened. Was she a queen? Where was she queen? Why is she here now? What's going on? And it just sounds so fun, like a whimsical, wonderful fantasy. And again, like other worlds, I don't know if it's fae, it might be something else, but it sounds like almost a cozy mystery, not like actually a cozy mystery, but a cozy, whimsical book with a lot of mystery and fantasy elements. So I am excited to pick this one up as well. Now, this next one may not be a new book or series for you at all, but for me it will be brand new, because I want to read A Curious Beginning, and this is by Deanna Raybourn. It's the first book in the Veronica Speedwell series, and I have not actually heard much about this series. I hear a lot of people mention it in passing as if everyone knows about it, but I didn't. And so I read the synopsis and I thought, hey, this sounds pretty cool. So it's your 1800s woman who is a spinster, and the last thing tying her to England, her aunt has just passed away, or she's no longer in charge of her. And so Veronica is super excited to go out into the world, catch some butterflies, study some butterflies. I don't know if butterflies is really a thing, but I just thought, oh, that's so sweet and so springy. But then she ends up thwarting her own kidnapping, like somebody was trying to get her, and a German baron is like, hey, I know what's going on, let me help you. And so he brings her to stay with his friend Stoker, who seems like he's a bit of a grump, but he's like a natural historian kind of thing. So again, nature, history vibes. I get the feeling it could be Grumpy Sunshine, it could be like strong female character in the 1800s. It could be like lots of nature. So I just know that this is a well-loved series, and I'm excited to give it a try. Yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. Following more of a cozy, whimsical, magical vibe, we have a book called Flower Heart, and this is by Catherine Bakewell. And this book follows a main character who, her magic's never been dangerous or anything. I think it's plant magic. She just likes growing flowers and whatnot, and then all of a sudden, poisonous flowers sprout in her father's chest. And the only person who knows how to help her heal her father and figure out what's going on is her former best friend and someone she might have liked. And so he promises to help her in exchange for some impossible thing that is like too much for her or that she doesn't like, but she really needs to save her father. So they go on this journey in order to save her father, and they're trying to figure out what dark, mysterious thing might be happening in the queendom and if her magic is the only magic that can stop it. So with the plant magic, and also the cover is, again, very floral. Like, those are just things that scream very spring, and I mean, it's called Flower Heart. If there's flowers, of course I'm gonna want to read it in spring. So that one's on the list. And now the final book on the list. The final book on my spring TBR, I'm so excited. It's called Late Bloomers, and it's by Maisie Eddings, and it is a sapphic, grumpy sunshine romance. I cannot wait. So our main character has been working this dead-end job. You know, she gets paid minimum wage. It really sucks. And then all of a sudden she wins the lottery. Then everybody starts asking things of her, and she just has too much of a heart, and she can't say no. And so she decides to, you know, stop this, move to Asheville, North Carolina, which I've been there actually. So I have an image of what that town looks like. So I'm a little excited about that. Anyway, and so she decides to buy this flower farm that is in some deep water. And so she's excited to go out there, work on the flower farm, and use the house to really get her painting started. She's an artist. She really wants to paint. However, when she gets there, she finds that another girl is there saying that this is rightfully her family's flower farm and that she is not going anywhere. So the two end up staying on the property, and they butt heads a lot. They don't get along, and so I think it's going to be like either grumpy sunshine or like kind of enemies to lovers. I don't know, but it takes place on a flower farm in Asheville, North Carolina, and it is a sapphic romance, which I am so excited. And I have a friend who's reading this right now, and if she likes it, then I know that I'm going to love it. But it just sounds like a book I would love, so I might not wait for her to finish and just try and start reading it on my own anyway. So those are all the books I'm going to try and read this spring. Again, I'm not going to get to all of them, but I'm going to do my best because I am truly interested in elements of all of these books. So it really just kind of depends on my time, how much time I have, because I am still in school, and what books are available at the library first, most likely. So thank you all very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below some of the books that you want to read this spring. If you have any recommendations of books for me to pick up, put those in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. And if you like bookish content like this, then feel free to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified. I am posting videos every week. I also have other bookish social media linked down below, like my Goodreads and a Bookstagram and things like that, so you can follow what I'm reading on a closer, because I'm not really doing reading wrap-ups or updates. I'm doing vlogs, but I haven't been doing like all the books I read in this month or all the books I've read in the past couple months. And so I'm kind of trying to figure out how and if I want to do that, because I have been reading a lot of books outside of the vlogs that I've been doing. I want to share this with you, so comment down below what kind of way you like it, if you just want more vlogs or if you want like a wrap-up video or a recent reads video, things like that. Let me know. But if you like content like that, follow me on my Goodreads and my Instagram, and you will see what I am reading and what I think of it. Again, thank you all for watching, and until I see you in the next video, I wish you happy reading!